Hey guys, what's up? It's Schla. And this is the final day in one of the worst weeks of my life. I mean, it's interesting, right? Because that's probably not accurate. As a matter of fact, that's definitely not accurate. It, yes, I mean, it was probably one of the sharpest downswing periods of my life where things were going so well and then out of nowhere everything really plummeted, you know. And I think most importantly is it's a lot of things that are very materialistic. So it's not anything that has to do with my safety or my health. It's just a lot of material things, which I also think is pretty interesting to point out, right? Because I don't know. I mean, just think about that. It's it wasn't really anything too crazy. Like, I'm okay. None of my, I mean, nothing, you know what I'm saying? I've always, and I was trying to think about this before the video started, but something I've noticed is that I'll be thinking about something and have a good idea, and then I'll just end up thinking about something else, and then the good idea is gone. You know, that happens pretty often to me. And it's very frustrating, and I don't think that many people, well, no, it probably is something that people run into. Never mind. I guess I assume, like, the things I go through other people don't, because that is a way to cope with or make sense of a lot of the just struggles I go through is a lack of relatability. And yeah, typically that is my go-to, but it is important to accept that I guess that's not always the case. I mean, there's some things I go through that other people do, and maybe they just don't think about it much, or it doesn't really affect what they're trying to do. Because I don't know why, if it really would matter, unless you're trying to do a show and you're trying to talk about certain topics or things like that. But I think the problem is being serious and on top of things. It's such a core of who I am. So when I'm restricted in that sense, I feel powerless. I feel messed up, aimless, without direction. And it's not really a fun or a good vibe. You know? It's just not. And so that's kind of what I've been dealing with lately, where my life was going so great, and then I was inflicted with a lot of problems. So it's not fun. It has not, like, this week, it went by in a blur, but in a bad way. You know? It went by fast, but in a bad way. Not a good fast. In a fast where you're kind of like delirious and you're like, what just happened? The week's already over? What did I spend this whole week doing? Just not getting over things? You see what I mean? I mean, it's scary. It's weird. It's not good. I'm not really in a good place. And a lot of that positivity stuff has just went completely out the window. Isn't that crazy? Like, I still couldn't keep it up. And maybe just now it's I need to start thinking about that again. You know, like, I'm realizing, like, I just hope I didn't blow it, but I might have. I don't know. But how do you? I just think something strange is going on. I mean, I guess that could all be coincidental, but in a way, I realize I messed up deeply because prior to all this stuff happening, I was talking about law of attraction and I was talking about staying positive no matter what. And so you mean to tell me that basically a week or two after that, then all these horrible things are coming my way? And then it's almost like a test that I failed. But I don't see how with what happened to me I would have been able to. I just don't know. Like, I can't. I'm trying to, like, dig deep in my brain, but there's no way I would have had a positive reaction to the events that happened to me. But I guess that's the true test. And I failed that test. The door closed, really. Now, I don't know if my reflection of that means anything. Like I said, I've been trying to cling to some kind of positivity, kind of going over my gratitude. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like and you know, it's so difficult to see past negativity when all these horrible things happen. It's so hard to see it for what it is. You can't. It's like you just can't see it. You know, it's so hard to react positively to things when there are things that affect so deeply, and a part of that's human, you know? A part of it is like, I'm a human and I feel stuff. Like, I'm not numb to things. I think a lot of people nowadays, they're numb, or they're hyper-reactional in a babyish way, but my reactions are not in a baby way. They're not. There's a depth to them. But I realize that now. It's like, wow, like now that I actually have time to think about it, now that it's been multiple days of mourning and processing, I totally blew the whole thing I was trying to do. I was trying to do this thing, and I blew it. I was setting up an experiment to react positively to everything, and I still didn't do it. You know, and then bad things happened. And so is it my fault? Like, I don't know. I worry about that this could all be my fault. Now, you know, I also try to tell myself, oh, you know, don't be ridiculous. But that timing, it almost seems like too strange. I don't know. Where I was dealing with so much stress and I wanted it to stop. And so I looked to these beliefs and then I didn't really follow through with them, and then a bunch of bad things happened. But it's like the timing. That's what makes it so eerie. Like, why would I have... I guess it could just be coincidental. I guess it really could be, but it seems odd, you know? And I guess I just need more time to contemplate and remorse, remember, whatever you want to say, and figure that out. There's just so much to reflect on. But the thoughts don't go away, and it's hard to not be chronically sad when you are dealing with these things. I mean, and it's hard for me too. It's something I can't get over. Material loss. But that's the whole thing that really, I guess it really makes me think, like, it's material. It's not, I'm okay. Like, I'm always safe. I've always been protected basically my whole life, and that's something that not everybody can say about themselves. I just realized too, when it comes to all these like stop signs and light inefficiencies, if you had auto driving in some kind of system where everything was all connected to an internet and the cars could communicate with each other and all, it could all be timed properly to avoid needing brakes. Because, you know, the one car could predict that the other car was coming, and then, yeah. So, but yeah, I don't know how to get through what I'm getting through, you know? It's just like crazy. But that's what scares me, because, again, and I don't know if I'm crazy for that or what the deal is, but it's like, what, yeah, I don't know if I'm crazy for that or what the deal is, but it's just like, I mean, it could just be a coincidence, though, and then it's like I'm wasting my time harping on it, but it's true. Like, I went through all these things about, you know, being positive to everything, trying to get over things, and all that stuff, and then it just didn't pan out. Like, when the second something major happened, I still reacted predictably like everybody else, and I had no trust in anything. I mean, I'm happy I'm thinking this way. Like, I still feel sad, but I guess today I'm gonna watch a lot more of those positivity videos and just try to get back on the try to remember where I was and to fix that and to ignore, because that's probably the lesson, or even if it's not the lesson from what I went through, it's probably just the situation, is that I'm too materialistic and it's lowering my potential. Like, I'm not being spiritual enough. I'm getting like way too caught up in the material world and getting upset over things that are like just material, and it's it's holding me back, you know. I know I'm more capable than that, but I don't know. I mean, you don't want to get too carried away with this stuff, because it is possible that it could truly be a coincidence, but it's eerie. It's eerie to me just how much of a obvious coincidence it is. And I think I really need to listen to it as a truth, not a coincidence, and just see where that takes me. You know, that's kind of my opinion about it. Because I don't know. I mean, if it's a waste of time, then maybe it's a waste of time, and maybe I should just continue to be sad. But what if it is just a sign that, you have to just get through things? Like, you can't, and yeah, react positively to things when they happen. It's like the whole, and I guess I'm glad that it's been documented on the car rides with Schla, because it's very documented that I was going through this moment of really trying to transmute upwards, and then things got really bad. And then I still just reacted typically. And it's an obvious huge problem. It's just an obvious one. It's just such a crazy situation, I guess. I don't know. But that's so, and you notice I haven't even been able to reflect. Like, I've been so caught up in what happened, and I still think I am, but I guess again my mental processing is fairly quick. So I deal with things better than a lot of people. I do think that's true. Because I don't really drown it out. I don't really drown things out. So it speeds up how quickly I can I don't know if that makes sense. Like, I don't get overly emotional. I can reason, but I am emotional. It's just that it's a different manifestation. Because I really think through my emotions. Like, even though I feel them, and I feel them strongly and deeply, I think through them. And there's a clarity to that. It's not like, I feel like most people are just random, it's just all random. But I've seen that before, and it's kind of why some drama happens, because I'm very quick to process. I'm very forgiving, and so I don't put people through ghosting, or I don't put people through any of that kind of stuff. But then from that vantage point, even people who are faster in the grand scheme of things, they don't seem very quick to me. And then it stresses me out a lot. And it hurts me. Because people will get upset and they'll ghost me. And I'm used to myself, which is a very quick processing of things. And even still, I think another thing to note is I'm also good at still keeping up with people and doing things even while I'm not feeling well. There's been times I've had a really bad headache, or I'm really not feeling well. And I'm still able to show up. Like, I still talk. I still kind of do my usual things. Whereas some people, when they're sick or they have a headache. They just don't. And I don't know if that's a choice or if it's just how people are. I guess it's just how people are, right? Yeah. I don't think it's you know what and that's what I'm saying. Like, to me though, it seems so crazy, like, oh, well, it must be a choice. But no, I think a lot of people, if they're sick, they're just sick. And that's all they can do. If they're sick, they're just sick. And they just stay in bed and they're kind of like out of commission. And that just doesn't really happen to me. And I don't know, is that diet? Is it genetics? I honestly think it's mostly genetics. I don't think that... Because even when I ate horrible, it was like that. Sometimes I would feel so sick and have such a headache, and then I'd just take a nap and then wake up. And then I was like all better. Do you know, though, what that does to a person? Like, you have to think about it. I guess in my head, I know how capable I am, and I know what I could do. And the fact that I'm not there is what's like torturing to me. There's people I know who don't understand what I go through. And it actually makes a lot of sense. Because if you're just a regular person, you're fine. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have the same thoughts that I do. You're not aware. But for me, I'm holding myself to a higher standard, but a part of it is just what it is. It's just who I am. Like, I don't know. I think that's very clear evidence that I'm just less sick than anybody. Like, I just don't... I don't know. There's a lot of people who cough. I never do, really. There's so many things. I mean, it's just weird. You know, it's very weird. And that's why I can only imagine where I'd be at if I actually had some proper muscle, because I still think I'm under-muscled, even though I'm still probably way better than where I was at 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 1 year ago. You know what I mean? Like, I'm still better, especially because I'm at least, like, eating enough protein. I'm working a job that there's some manual labor. I mean, it's not a lot, but I actually kind of try to make it more laborious than it needs to be for that reason. And then, yeah, but I'm still very under-muscled, and that's probably the biggest problem. Because if I just had like a healthy amount of muscle, I'm sure my health would be through the roof right now. I don't know, but yeah, it just is what it is, you know. Like, I really... But I think, again, it's justified because you know who you are and you know where you're at. And you know you should be making more money. You should be doing a job that's more difficult. You could be doing a job like that right now. You're more on top of things than anybody you've ever met. Even the people who are in those higher positions. And for some reason, it's just like you're not there. And people don't seem to notice or care or like really do anything about it. Like I've no idea. And so I don't know. I guess I shouldn't be overly upset or confused or concerned, because competency is priceless. And that's something, like I said, I mean, I know a lot of people, and I know that I'm just more competent than they are, you know, like, and obviously not in every way. I make mistakes too, like anybody, but it's about the percentage of mistakes, I think, that matters. And I just noticed that very clearly with people, is that I just make less mistakes, you know what I mean? Or the mistakes I make are almost from like a over-complication, you know, random things like that. So that's why it's difficult for me. I think that if I was, well, no, we've talked about that before too, because it could just be a bit of an ego issue then at that point. Because I was going to say, if I was an average person, I would be extremely happy right now. But then, you know, an average person may have like completely unreasonable mindsets about things. You see what I mean? Because it's just an average, like, because some people, that's like the people on YouTube saying like, oh, I can't do the 9 to 5, I just can't stand it. And I mean, I really shouldn't be mocking them, because maybe I'd be saying the same thing if I was in their situation. But I guess you have to remember that everybody's in their own situation for a reason, I think. And we're all like used to what we go through to some extent. Now it's obviously difficult. For some people, it's harder than others to deal with, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I'm exactly trying to get at right now. I'm kind of losing my train of thought a little bit. But yeah, because there's average people who still complain, but it's just about like different things. So it's possible. Although some of those people, they still might be happier than me, because a lot of people, they just, and that's the whole crux of everything, is I'm very materialistic, but it's in a much higher way than most people. It's a very different materialism. I don't know. And also, I think even with that, I'm very efficient. So, like, me being rich would be like we already talked about a couple episodes ago. I mean, even just barely 6 figures, totally happy. I mean, I don't think I would have one complaint. I don't even think I would. Like, I would just be so happy, even with like 80,000 a year. So happy. Just like, I don't even know why a human would need more than that. It's just so much money to me. You know what I mean? So I'm very good at making things work with not a lot. Because I'd honestly be I would be pretty happy even with 60,000 a year. You see what I mean? It's just, and I guess it's true and it's fair. Well, why do you even need that? You know what? You could be happy with less, and yeah, that's fair. But I could probably make less work. You know what I mean? Like, there's probably a lot of people who, live in a way that is worse. Like, that's what I'm trying to say. I'm not saying this as in, like, I'm saying this is my dream. My, like, dream life is to make 60 to 80,000 a year. This is before taxes too. That's my dream. Like, I would never need more than that. Is just like so much money to me. So, especially if it was 100,000, oh my gosh, it's just so much money to me. Like, as I don't know, the way I was raised and the way I live, it's just, I just don't get it. Like, why would anybody ever need more than that? So even being like a millionaire seems kind of crazy to me. Like, I would just be unbelievably happy if I was a millionaire. I don't even, that's just so much money. I don't even know what I would do with all that. If I made like that much money a year, 200,000 a year, 300,000 a year, I just don't even know what I'd do with the money. It would just sit. It would literally just sit. Like, I don't. So I think a lot of stuff, and maybe that's why it's difficult for me to punch too hard, because a lot of this stuff I don't know what people do with it. Like, I have just no idea what even makes sense to do with that much money. So I think that's part of the problem. Maybe I need to be a bit more ambitious and dream a little bit more. But in a lot of ways, like, I'm probably always going to be that way to some extent. But yeah, I'm saying I would probably be at peace with less money than most people. Like, but it's one of those things where I can do it, but I don't think I want to do it. Like, I could easily make it work because I'm very efficient. But, that's like the whole thing is it's that, like, knowing that you could be more and then you're just not. That's what I think the pain comes from. It's sad. It's sad, and that's. But to say that I wouldn't be able to handle it or something, that just doesn't make any. Like, I definitely could handle being poorer than what I said. Like, that was like my dream threshold is like 60 to 100. Because I think 60,000 is like plenty of money. Like, that's I don't know what people do with their money. I do not understand how people live. I still think, even though I've spent so much time trying to, I still don't. Like, I just don't get it. I don't know how people live, and it's like I said, my expectations for humans just keep slipping away. See, at least this episode, it's a little bit better than the other ones this week. I mean, maybe it's a sign that I'm beginning to move on. I'm not quite there yet, but we have to, again, submerge ourselves in a bunch of positive videos today and kind of hope for the best with that, That's just kind of all there is to it, I think. Really. Oh my gosh, this pesky light just barely messed me up. But I figure out how it works now. At least I think. Wow. It's crazy. It's just such a crazy light. Yeah, I just don't know. I don't know what is going on. But yeah, I guess I just still like the way, because that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm sure people would just be blowing it. I have no idea what I would like. Well, no, I know what I would do with the money, but like I said, if I made $60,000 right now, and this is before taxes, I'm pretty sure I would just be able to live a good life. Like, I don't think any more is needed than that. I mean, it's just my opinion, but I'm pretty sure I could basically do every single thing I want in life with just 60,000 a year. I don't think, like, I don't even know. And yeah, that's given the economy the way it is, cuz I just think there's a certain threshold where as long as you're efficient with your money, it works, and it works well. You know, like, you don't have to be making excess. And so that's why I guess I just don't like when people make excess. And in a way, it's kind of why I don't have a problem with the cost of living crisis. But again, what I do have a problem with that is that it's like too far, and a lot of things are, it's not like objective, because some people obviously are in better situations than, I've already talked about it, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, it is what it is, but I'm okay with there being a strictness to things. I don't particularly have a glaring problem with that. I don't know. Kind of weird, but I'm just like that. But yeah, 60K is, I mean, it's good. It's really good money. And there's some people who it's like nothing to them. Or I just have no idea how they even live or what they do. You know? And so it's just a bunch of craziness, honestly. That's all it is. I can't understand. But yeah, that's why I want to work 2 jobs, because then I'd probably make that much if I got a second job. Although, that I guess there's no guarantee to that. Like, I might not. I might not make. Yeah, like, it just depends. It really depends. Like, on how many hours I would work in the second job, really. But yeah, I mean, we're here again at work. But yeah, I guess that's a bunch of perspectives I've thought about. A lot of things I've just been yeah, I just don't know. I just don't know. But I try. I try. Yeah, I'm sorry for losing my ability to speak here for a little bit. Whoa. I didn't even know the car did that. I like hit my foot on the on the chair thing, and it like started adjusting. The car's not even on. I didn't know that you can do that while the car's not running. That's weird. That's never happened to me before either. Yeah, it was crazy. I didn't know what was going down. I didn't even know what was going down. Alright, well, we'll put the sun thingies up, and that'll be a wrap. So, appreciate you for tuning in today, and, yeah. What else is new? Alright. It's been Schla, but now it's time to buy Schla. So, see you, Schla.